in the outfit. You know,
Yes,
the
it's the
Still
hair.
Dave presents the very best of Johnny Cash.
Yeah, unfortunately my head got caught up in a ring of fire, but yes.
Yay! You're looking very smart. I look like a lumberjack, and I'm okay.
That's all
Big
right.
day today. Big
Oh,
day today, as I have been promoting, as you've probably seen, that later in the show,
we will be
we will.
speaking to Anne Hegarty.
Do you know, I prefer it when you're not here. I'll be honest with you. The ratings are much better. I'll be frank.
Oh.
I was going to try and talk to you off air, but you know, the ratings go through the roof when you're not here. I'll be frank.
Can I just say it's been a pressure. Goodbye.
It's bye everybody. Oh, little Phil's gone. Come back, you fool. Right. We are going right now to the one place on the planet nobody wants to be. And
But
I'm
everyone's talking
amazed
about.
everybody is talking about. We are going, ladies and gentlemen, now live to Ukraine. Victoria, hello.
Just...
There she is.
Hello?
Hello, Victoria. Can you
Uh-huh.
hear us?
Hi, sorry, I was using other earphones and they didn't seem to work.
You have absolutely nothing to apologize for, I'm quite sure.
Now, Victoria, first and foremost, and I don't think this question has ever had more meaning in all the years I've been broadcasting, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm at my dad's house now, 100 kilometers from Kharkiv. I'm not in the city itself. I
Right.
left on the second day of the attacks. And my sister just arrived yesterday from Kharkiv. She was staying there for the whole week
Right.
under this huge and terrible attacks. Really, they had the day before yesterday. They even had fighter jets and everything flying over them. They lost power. No connection whatsoever, and I managed to rescue her with help of evacuation buses.
Wow.
Crumbs.
Victoria, what presumably, I know this sounds ridiculous. First of all, thank you so much for talking to us on Men's Radio. I really appreciate it. And
Thank you.
Thank you for our mutual pal David Wimble for setting it up
Yeah.
and doing the introduction. What is we watching this on our TV screens around the rest of Europe and the rest of the world? We watch with horror. We watch with total disbelief. We feel so powerless. What can we do? Is there anything, you know, there you are in Ukraine. What can we do
You
as
know,
citizens of the world?
as citizens of the world, right now, our biggest appeal to the world is to close the sky. I don't know how much it is possible, what actually people can do, but since day one, we've been appealing. We are writing we've signed the petition. The petition, I think, has more than 1 million votes now.
Hmm.
And even yesterday, I read a not article. There was like an extract from interview with Daria Grybauskaitė. She's the leader of Lithuania, and she used to be. I'm not sure right now.
Okay.
She said we have to help somehow. I know, like USA, they don't want to get in direct conflict with Russia. And the only thing what these people are asking, again, maybe we are not supposed to discuss military things here. Maybe we are
You
on
can do
about
whatever you can do. You can do
humanitarian aid.
no. You can do whatever you like,
But this is
Victoria.
the only thing. I mean, our guys are really highly motivated.
Hmm.
People are really fighting. We have numerous videos when people go out to the streets, like elderly people. They stop tanks, invaders' tanks with their bare hands. We had case. It was kind of meme when gypsies stole a moving Russian tank with the help of a tractor.
I
Yes,
saw that.
Just an
We saw it.
ordinary tractor. You
absolutely
saw it.
viral. That went
Yeah.
viral here. That was
We
So
brilliant.
saw that.
people, bombs who go and collect empty bottles, usually, and
Yeah.
sell them.
Yeah.
They they are collecting now these bottles to make Molotov cocktails.
Yes, I
uh,
understand.
it's everybody's helping, but the biggest appeal, and again from day one we are asking to close our sky because we've got numerous attacks. As of yesterday, 480 attacks were detected by various kind of missiles, so usually they are
Oh,
multi-launch missiles. My
yep.
city of Kharkiv is totally in ruins now. They have destroyed the center, all beautiful buildings which withstood German invasion in 1941, 1943 when it was
Yep.
freed. Our biggest in Europe, Svoboda Square, Freedom Square, was hit by 2 cruise missile rockets. And those rockets were launched from Belgorod, from Russia. So they are launching rockets from the territories of Russia, of Belarus, and from Ukraine as well, or maybe not rockets. I don't know, whatever. I'm not a military expert, but they are using all types of possible ammunition, of possible equipment. They
Yep.
used, like we have detected, not even one time, cluster and vacuum bombs, which are actually prohibited by the Geneva Convention. They are
Which bombs, Victoria?
forbidden.
Sorry.
Cluster,
Oh, cluster
cluster.
bombs.
I
Yes,
don't know if
cluster
that's
bombs.
correct
No, it
translation.
is cluster
No, it
bombs.
Cluster
is.
They're called
and
cluster
vacuum
bombs. Yes.
bombs. They have, for example, vacuum bombs. They were used in Akhterka. That's near us here. Akhterka is the place which I am originally from, Apishnya, from Poltava region. So Akhterka is just 50 kilometers from us. So we are here in Poltava region, which is safe for the moment, but we are very near to the area where actually, like Akhterka, Sumy, they are our neighbors more or less.
Hmm.
My native town is quiet so far, but we have blasts. Guys, they keep hearing blasts because of numerous attacks. And right now, as we speak, Kharkiv is undergoing another round of heavy shellings. They have also Akhterka. Akhterka, it's a small town. I really don't know. I think they want to make some kind of route to Kiev
Hmm.
to close it off or something. But right now, Kiev attacks have been put on hold for the moment. I think because their main powers are now at Kharkiv, but they are suffering great losses. They know it, and they become even more angry with time because they don't have any victories to report to Putin.
Hmm.
And
Then it's
they are shelling. They are not using precise targets or something. They are shelling everything: residential areas, hospitals, maternity homes, stations where people come to donate their blood, uh, anything. uh, I mean, when we had fascists in the Second World War, they didn't behave in this way. We already have several churches which were hit. Like anything, there is no district in my city. It's 1.5 million inhabitant city which hasn't been attacked by Russians, which hasn't been destroyed or ruined in one way or the other.
Victoria, the radio station, or the station that
Hmm.
we pride ourselves on, is very much about mental health and well-being. There are plenty
Hmm.
of people quite rightly talking about all of the political aspects of it.
Yeah.
And what we're quite keen to understand, because it's very hard to the people just watching on and
Yep.
feeling helpless, but what's it like being caught up in the middle of it? Can you describe any of the emotions that you're feeling about all of what's happening to your beautiful country?
My heart is bleeding. I feel so sad, and I don't know how to express my concern and my sympathy to those people, my friends who are still in Kharkiv. I was trying to call them here where I am now, at least, so they can get shelter. They don't want to leave. They are there under constant attacks. They have all this psychological, basically, they are still keeping strong. A lot of them, they have been sitting. First day we didn't have so many shellings, so
Hmm.
we were going up and down to bomb shelters, but we could still stay in houses, for example. But from day 2 and day 3, they started more intensive attacks. So people are now living in underground parkings, in bomb shelters, somewhere in cellars, anywhere you can hide. For example, right now in my house, my neighbor is staying in the corridor between my flat and her flat, because there are two concrete walls in
Right.
between. So that's the way. A lot of kids are there, a lot of animals. They are all sitting together. Sometimes because of these shellings, because of curfews, people cannot come out to buy food, buy groceries for 3 days. Many shops have been shelled, so they are not opening. So now, because I'm signed up for various groups of my building and stuff, my house, and people are writing what is the schedule, what is the shop, which shop is, what is the nearest shop open, and what can you so for example, it just gets open for 1 or 2 hours, so that people can go get some groceries and go back. And even that, the day before yesterday, one of the OSCE observers in Kharkiv was killed. I don't know, maybe you heard about that. She just went during this kind of quiet moment. She went
Yep.
to get like an injection for her brother. She went to pharmacy and she got killed. So these people, they just shell at anything, and I can't imagine how these people, brave people who are still in my city, as I said, a lot of my friends, a lot of volunteers, they are still driving around around the city. There are volunteers who are using bikes just to deliver some food. So, for example, they listen to, for example, they get information that there are some elderly who, for example, some single elderly person who needs he or she cannot go out to get some food, to get some supplies. And people who I'm talking to, they are telling me that we are fine, we are keeping strong, but every day, with every day, their spirits just go down, because it's really, it's a nightmare.
See, this is what I and Phil can't get our heads round at all. And I don't want to go into the military thing that's covered on so many other channels and TV stations. I just want to say, because I never thought I'd have the opportunity, and I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of Phil and all the listeners, which I'll come on to in a minute. One, you have our deepest sympathy. I know that sounds rubbish, but you do.
Thank
Two,
you.
we are our hearts are breaking watching this. They really are. We feel helpless and we feel useless. That's our frustration.
Yeah.
So we would do anything that we could. We can't imagine what it must be like when you're living in a beautiful European city. This is not in the middle of nowhere. You're in a beautiful, classic European city, and suddenly you're in World War II again, and even
Yes.
worse. I don't understand how you even get out of bed in the morning. It's a miracle.
But I hope,
couldn't.
Victoria, that
Yeah.
you know. I hope that you do know that the world is. I know it's, again, it sounds pointless because we're not, but in spirit, the world is most certainly with the Ukraine at the
We feel
moment.
that. I get numerous messages from my UK friends, like Brazilian, New Zealand, and all over the world, Danish. People are collecting some kind of humanitarian aid. My
Yes.
friends this morning, they sent me a video from a British guy. I don't know if you saw it on BBC. I think he's Tom. He's a former Royal Marine, and he heard about all these things happening in Ukraine, and within 2 hours he collected some humanitarian aid. And right now he's driving, or maybe he has already arrived towards the border of Ukraine in Poland. So
Yes.
those stories and these
and I
kind
was
of
having
examples, they bring our spirits up.
Victoria, I was having a conversation this morning on the phone with our mutual friend David Wimble,
Hmm.
and I know there are six 40-foot lorries heading
Hmm.
towards you soon. 6. That's just from
Very
his
good.
area on the coast of Kent. Kent's on the south part of
Very good. Yeah.
as you know. And by the way, Victoria, if you think you're just talking to me and Phil,
Hmm.
this
Thank you.
conversation is going out to 41 countries at the moment.
Very good.
41. And just on Deluxe Radio, it's going out to over 70,000 people. So You're not speaking to just me and
Thank you
Phil.
so much. And I would like to, yeah, as I said, once again, to thank all people over the world. We can't change much at the moment. We are
Mm.
in hands of a psycho who totally lost it, and we don't know what to expect in the future. We really don't know.
Can I just
And
say? Can I
but
say one
yeah,
thing? Because I never thought I'd have the opportunity to speak to
yeah,
someone in the Ukraine. We feel so useless because we know we are dealing with a man who is basically out of control in many
yes,
ways,
exactly. And who has a
and
nuclear button?
the
You know about
fact,
this
of
morning's
course,
attacks at our nuclear
I
power
know. Oh
station.
yes, I saw the. I was
Absolutely.
watching it at 4 o'clock this morning. I
Yeah,
was. What I mean, it is like. Have you not heard about Chernobyl? What part of Chernobyl are
exactly.
you not understanding? This could be
Well, I hate
10
to
Yeah,
say
times
this,
worse.
based on the news this morning, I think it should be known to anyone who's not completely caught up that the nuclear plant that Victoria is referring to is so enormous that the
yeah.
ramifications, should it explode, will be felt across Europe.
It
So
it has
Mm,
Chernobyl will
exactly.
pale into
yeah,
insignificance.
Yes. Chernobyl had one reactor, and this one has 6 reactors.
there you
Yeah.
go.
So if you want some
So,
sort of sense of context, this is
and
it's
you
not a game,
realize why
people.
we are so frustrated because, as you say, if there was a no-fly zone, then NATO
Yes,
comes in direct confrontation with Russia, and then God only knows where it ends. So
exactly.
this is why it's so horrible. Victoria, just for a little bit of context, what did you do? What was your job before? I know, but please tell everybody what you
Uh-huh.
were doing and how you
Well,
know us.
at the time when all this happened, I was working as an English teacher, and also I had part-time job with my previous marine or crewing agency, because I have done 10 years at sea on
Right.
cruise ships.
Wow.
So before the pandemic, we had an office in Kharkiv from Odessa Crewing Agency, and I was the representative. I was selecting crew for working on board cruise ships. So we
Right.
cooperated with Princess Cruises, with AIDA, Carnival Corporation, and so on. But at the time, yes, at the time of when all this happened, so I was teaching English. I had several groups at like IT companies, and also I had online lessons. So right now I can't teach anything. I'm just not. I can't pull myself together. And people, it's not.
Of course.
It's not on the table now. It's really,
From our
yeah.
pathetic viewpoint, and I'm just echoing what our listeners and viewers all over the world are saying, is this: we thought the pandemic and being in lockdown was
Mhm.
terrible. I
Yes.
cannot, and it was horrible. All right, but I
Hmm.
cannot imagine
Yeah.
living and people are trying to blow you up. I can't imagine it at all. It's just
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
Here now, nobody talks about COVID whatsoever.
No,
There are
everyone's
no
forgotten it. We've
masks.
forgotten it now.
We've forgotten it completely.
Sure, but who cares?
Yes, exactly. And
Who
I
the
mean,
hell
nobody
cares?
catches it. It suddenly disappeared.
Funny
That's it.
that,
Yeah.
funny that, isn't it?
Yes,
You have
exactly.
something else, and all of a sudden it's gone. But
Exactly.
that's a conversation
But I remember,
probably
I
for
don't know if
another
I can
day.
just, yeah, if I can just
Our
add
time
this
is your
moment
time.
when it all started. Yeah.
Mm,
I was sleeping in the morning, so it was towards morning, and I started hearing some blasts. So I woke up to some blasts. So first I thought, well, because we were expecting it has been ongoing that Russia is going to attack, but we didn't believe until the last moment, of course.
mm.
And when I heard these blasts,
Did you
I
know
was
what that
thinking,
noise
yeah,
was? Did you know? Because thank God,
I
Phil,
I
Phil and
tried
I have
to
never experienced that. Thank God.
I tried to listen
Well,
to it, and
I have heard it in the Middle East before, but I certainly
yeah,
haven't experienced it in this country. So
I really hoped it was thunder, and I
Yes.
went to my balcony, and I could hear it very distinctively,
Oh
and
God.
I could see the red blaze over. So it was not even 5 a.m., it was like 4:55, 4:50,
Mm.
something like that. And all this blaze, like big bow of blaze, it went across the sky, and I realized what happened. And I started trembling. I started, because I live alone, I live with my little dog, and I didn't even have anybody to hug. I didn't want to hug her because I didn't want to make her scared.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's very
mm,
yeah,
bad.
so the
Yeah.
following night, so basically my friends arrived and stayed with me during the day because they live next to the airport. So they said they have little babies, so they had to evacuate from there. So they stayed with me, and the whole of following night I couldn't sleep at all, not a single minute. I was listening to some blasts. It was just a nightmare. I live on the
Mm.
seventh floor, so it's quite high,
Yes.
and it sounds that it's very near you. Now my neighbors, because my house is quite near to the city center, for example, Svoboda Square, Freedom Square is just like 20 minutes away from me, like 20 minutes walk, I mean.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they can hear everything, what has been bombed, all these attacks, every time is getting worse. So I really, I feel so much for these people who are there. I really feel helpless, and I feel a bit, like a bit of guilt that I'm here in shelter, and since I arrived to my father's place, I was listening to every noise. I was trying to catch it, but so far so good. We have
Mm.
military base not far away from here, but so far they haven't advanced to Poltava region, but you never know what's going next, what's going to happen.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I
we
know
are
this is
now,
very I know
yeah.
this is very easy for me to say this, but I
Hmm.
would absolutely plead with you not to have a sense of guilt, because first and foremost, instincts as human beings is survival above everything
Yeah,
else. The fact that, thank God, you have got somewhere that you can escape to, and just please take advantage for it as long as necessary. And you've got to hope that obviously those who've left behind will also
yeah.
find some sort of escape route as well. Survival is nothing to feel guilty about, that's for sure.
Over
Yeah.
here, so that you know, and so that you know it is true, and I'm just talking about the UK, so many people are mobilizing to send what we've been
Hmm.
told are the things that you need, which is warm clothes, of course, basic
Hmm.
medicines like, you know, headache
Yeah,
pill, and I know there'll be loads of trucks because people are not just sympathetic. Sympathetic
yeah,
doesn't do it. People are furious. People are
exactly. I know.
so angry about this.
It's like all the rules of democracy, of anything, have been totally ignored, completely broken. And it's just and what happens in Russia, because we have some access, we can see their television, we can see what they're telling. It's big
Oh, right.
propaganda. It's really it's I think it's like Hitler time, the same
Yeah,
what they had, a kind of propaganda. Yeah,
of course.
it's unbelievable what they're saying. They say that there are no Russian soldiers in Kharkiv. They haven't bombed Kiev.
Ugh,
Kharkiv and Kiev are peaceful cities. Even though people are being shown photos, people don't believe. They support Putin. They support him still, and they say if Putin does so it means that it has to be like that. So he's a clever man, so he know what he's doing. And I don't understand those people and don't have any mercy for them whatsoever. If you please apologize, I really don't understand that. There are a lot of people who are thinking, but they're afraid to speak out because they have very strong control of that. They have
of
already
course.
shut Facebook access, YouTube, I think. They had several independent radio stations like Echo Moscow, Echo, and Echo Moscow and stuff. They have been closed since the beginning of war because they started speaking about war. They started interviewing people, showing evidence, and they have closed them completely. So
So
people there, they in a
they have no
vacuum.
idea. They have no idea.
No, no, no. This
And
huge country.
it was said, Victoria, that the soldiers, no, we don't know what's true or not, but the soldiers
Yeah,
had no idea, the Russian soldiers, the kids,
uh,
they're like 19-year-old kids, right?
it's partially true.
They
Yeah,
thought they were going for a military exercise, and suddenly they find
exactly.
themselves in a war, which they didn't think they were going to.
Exactly. Some of them, yes. Some of them were told like this. I mean, we don't know the whole truth, of course.
No, you never
But
will.
from what, after they are being questioned, they acknowledge that they are being paid like regular soldiers. They're being paid $57 a day. So they knew perfectly well what they're doing. So I think they
Uh,
are saying that we were sent to exercise to avoid more responsibility or something. They were perfectly aware.
by the way, talking about getting information through, at the moment there are 716 listeners in Russia
Hmm.
listening to us right now. This is on a
Very
thing called
good. That's good.
Redbox. It's a thing called Redbox streaming in Estonia. Thank you, David, for that.
This
So is
morning,
there something you want to say directly? Because now you
to
can.
Russians.
Say it to the Russians
I
now.
can say in Russian, but I
Go
don't
ahead.
know if they will listen to it. I really don't know if they will listen.
They would try. You know, if we
Мгм.
don't try, we'll never know. You go ahead. Go on.
Дорогие слушатели, я обращаюсь к вам из зоны, которая находится рядом с Харьковом. Я сама харьковчанка, прожила там последние 20 лет. И я могу сказать, что сейчас наш город полностью разбомблен, разрушен вашими войсками. Войска, которые вторглись на нашу территорию, в нашу Украину, которые убивают детей, женщин, которые стреляют по жилым домам, по жилым кварталам, где нету никакой военной части, где нету милитарных объектов. Они обстреливают роддома, обстреливают школы, они уничтожили здание администрации на нашей главной площади, они стреляют по церквям, они стреляют в подстанции, чтобы обесточить город. Они устанавливают свою связь мобильную, перехватывают нашу связь, глушат, чтобы люди не могли общаться и не могли слушать друг друга. Мои друзья, мои родные просидели в подвалах последнюю неделю, сидят, иногда не могут по 3 дня выйти, чтобы купить продукты, магазины закрыты. Люди, которые выходят на улицу что-то купить, попадают под обстрелы. Женщине недалеко от моего дома оторвало ноги, потому что она вышла взять воды. Поэтому происходят жуткие беззакония. Это происходит на большей части территории Украины. Сейчас под обстрелами находится Харьков, Ахтырка, Сумы, Киев, Херсон, Мариуполь, жуткая ситуация в Мариуполе, люди в осаде. В Херсоне уже устанавливают российское телевидение, чтобы люди могли видеть пропаганду. Вам говорят, что нету здесь российских войск или что они проводят спецоперацию. Это настоящая война, это не спецоперация. Ваших погибших ребят и раненых вместе уже 10 тысяч. Если вам сказали вчера, что у вас 500 убитых, это неправда. У нас готовится большой рефрижераторный поезд на 10 тысяч мест, который будет отвозить тела всех погибших на территорию территории Российской Федерации. Поэтому я вас очень прошу, не верьте пропаганде. Сегодня лично видела мультик, который выпустила ваша геббельсовская пропаганда для детей, где мальчик Вася и мальчик Микола поругались, то есть прототипы России и Украины, и мальчика Миколу надо проучить и забрать у него палку. Что вы творите? Это бред, это маразм. Я вас очень прошу, одумайтесь, говорите, выходите на улицы, не бойтесь. Надо остановить вашего обезумевшего диктатора, вашего лидера. Он полностью потерял рассудок, любые человеческие чувства. И пока вы его вместе не остановите, просто может быть очень поздно. У него в руках ядерная кнопка. Он этой ночью стрелял, то есть ваши танковые войска обстреливали реактор Запорожской атомной электростанции. Это самая большая атомная электростанция. Там на Чернобыле было 1 реактор был, здесь 6 реакторов, чтобы вы понимали разницу. Поэтому я вас очень прошу, радиация не выбирает страну, она не знает, где Россия, где Украина, она пойдет везде, вы пострадаете. И ваши люди, ваши сыновья продолжают погибать у нас. Наши ребята оснащены хорошей техникой, они уничтожают врагом по всем направлениям, поэтому ваши ребята гибнут тысячами. Остановите это. Я не представитель власти, я не являюсь заинтересованным лицом, я вам говорю это просто от лица обычного обывателя. Моя сестра чудом вчера ей удалось выбраться из Харькова, там просто уже сейчас невозможная ситуация. Летают истребители, самолеты бомбят все ключевые объекты и жилые дома, как я уже повторила. Вы можете это остановить, вашего обезумевшего лидера. Я вам очень благодарна за поддержку и за ваше понимание.
Do you know, I have to tell you, Victoria, that obviously my Russian is non-existent, but at the same time, I was picking up on parts of that, and I sort of heard, I think, reference to China's involvement and also reference to the nuclear threat as well from everything that's going on there. But
interesting, the word in Russian for propaganda is propaganda.
Yes, propaganda.
Interesting.
I know this is a somewhat pathetic gesture, but I hope it goes some way just to showing that men's radio is with you as well. That if you look on the screen now, hope there you go. So we will leave that up for the rest of the show at least.
A lot.
So, but even
I was
so,
really touched when my friends sent me various buildings over UK which were lit up in Ukrainian flag colors.
Yes.
So that was
everywhere.
nice. That was
absolutely everywhere. I've never seen anything like it.
Please don't miss.
Even in the Falklands.
Everywhere. Please understand how desperate we feel for you. I'm trying to avoid platitudes, Victoria, because they're just crap. But understand how angry we are on your behalf, how helpless we feel, that you have 100% support. I've not read one thing anywhere. And I know, just looking through all the messages that are streaming in from all over the world, record numbers of people, by the way, today, that so much is going to try to be done. We can't go out there with our guns and our rifles as much, quite frankly, as I would like to. I actually would. I was talking about it with my best friend only last Saturday. But you will be getting as many supplies as we can, we'll do in our very small way, whatever the hell we can do because it's unacceptable.
Thank you so much.
It's a horror. And to think this is happening in 2022 is just beyond belief.
Until now we are feeling that we are in the middle of some really bad horror movie or some horror dream. And but it's just you feel so helpless because, as I said, they are shooting or shelling and everything. They are not selecting targets, and you just feel like you're in the middle of some bare field or something, and you just get all the you don't know where you will get it from, where you will get the next shelling from. It's they're just randomly shelling these people.
I was watching.
I think it's kind of revenge. I think by now it's kind of revenge because they were expecting
they thought they could walk in. They figured they could walk in,
and they didn't expect
that's exactly what it comes. Yeah, but that's exactly what it comes across as. It's like a petulant child who hasn't got what they want, and they're throwing the toys out the pram, but unfortunately costing lives in the process.
And you know what I was thinking? Like, what is the big reason behind this? I mean, of course, we don't take this propaganda about Lugansk, Donetsk. It's really it's not the correct way. He hates us because he has this idea of recreating Russian Empire. Yes. Or putting Slavic so people together, but we are free-spirited. He cannot, until now, he cannot understand from Orange Revolution times when people selected democratic president instead of pro-Russian one. He cannot take into consideration Ukrainian spirit. Russians, I apologize to our Russian listeners, they are more obedient. I don't want to use the word slaves, but they are more obedient.
They're also more frightened. Victoria, in fairness,
exactly.
they're also pretty terrified. As indeed, Victoria, are the general. I'm going to bring on our other guests in a minute to talk to you, by the way. Talk to you.
Right.
But the generals, I mean, who wants the job of going into Putin's office and saying, hey, I'm so sorry, things aren't going so great? Nobody wants that job. Let me bring on, and Shantas, I know you can hear me. I don't think we're going to do movie. I want you on, but I don't think we're going to go to the movie. So let's bring on two very special people. You certainly know David Wimble.
Oh, David, hello.
And one of our dear friends is Chantal Rickards as well. So, David, thank you for effecting and setting all this up. I really, really appreciate it, fella. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. I've been in contact with Victoria on Facebook for the last 10 days, really. And I just said that I would do everything I could to do what little we can in the UK. And she sent me a list about 4 or 5 days ago saying what's needed. And as Russ has already said, not only is it from me personally, but our local district council has now got 3 pickup centres across our whole district. And people are just giving everything that they can. So help is on its way to you. I just only wanted to pop up quickly to say that the whole world is behind you. And on a personal note, as somebody who works alongside you on a ship various times, your Saga family, who used to work as a purser, I think originally it was on the Saga Ruby or the Rose years ago.
Yes, Ruby.
They are all. The other thing that I did mention, I think, to Russ, is you're going through this at home, but many of your countrymen are actually at sea, still on cruise ships, and it must be horrendous for them.
Yes.
Not knowing what's happening to their family because of communications. So
Exactly.
all I'm going to say is, I'll keep talking to you every day because I need to know that you're safe and your friends, and it's inspirational what you're trying to achieve over there. And you came up with one quote the other day that before a beautiful dawn, you sometimes have to go through the darkest nights. And I think let's hope the dawn isn't too far away.
We hope
From
so.
your
We really
mouth to
hope
God's
so.
ears,
Yeah.
please.
As my dad used to say. And David, bless you. And
Bless
just
you.
briefly, because I
Thanks.
want Victoria to hear it, and I want Chantal and everybody else, talk about the lorries. We were chatting about it on the phone this morning, please, because it's so inspirational, David.
So I contacted our district council and said, we need to arrange some pickup points. As you know, I've got a small shop here and we've got some raffles and things like that to raise money that we can send to the Red Cross.
That was great. That was nice to hear. Yeah.
But what we've done is we've actually used the community hubs that we set up for the COVID pandemic, and all three of them in our district are now pickup points. We've contacted a local haulier who I actually phoned him to say, how much money will it cost for us to charter a lorry to go over to the Polish border? One of the contractors we spoke to said there is no cost. We will donate a lorry. I think they're up to 6 lorries now, going from our area, and on top of what's happening with the local council and the aid that's going through the Red Cross and UNICEF. So, and we are one small district on the south coast, near where you probably came down to Saga's head office. So we are just one of thousands of people across the whole of the UK that's doing our best to support your countrymen and women.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to us, and I really personally would like to thank you, to thank my Saga family, who they're sending me constantly messages. Our Mette, our chief person, Mette Krause, she also sent me messages. She keeps sending me messages and saying that Danish people also have collected huge humanitarian aid, and they've been in contact with the mayors and everything, and everybody to assist us in every possible way. Like right now, Kharkiv is really in big need of lots of things because power cottages, there are no proper communication means, for example, because Russians are trying to suppress the signals. They've been attacking the power plants, like stations, for example, for like heating supplying stations. So people staying some time without heating. For example, when I spoke yesterday, I also spoke with several volunteers after I spoke with you before. So also they asking if there is any possibility, for example, to provide kind of power banks or torches or anything, something like that for survival, and batteries, of course, because people stay, for example, like my sister, when she had to flee Kharkiv yesterday, there was power cut, and they suppressed mobile signals, so I couldn't reach her at all. But luckily she got out of her house. She walked for 1 hour and nearly 1 hour 20 minutes to go outside the city and get to the point where the evacuation buses were meeting them, because right now it's even difficult to enter the city. So they're really like cut off, and the taxi drivers, they don't arrive if you call them, because it's quite dangerous, to go under the shellings and everything. So people need warm clothes, like food, preserved food. We are receiving now a lot of humanitarian aid. In military hospital is full, of course, it's full of our soldiers. They also need like all kind of medications, maybe also some socks, some underwear, pants, anything, anything could help. So I'm just conveying this message, what I got from our volunteers yesterday.
Chantal, what would you like to say to Victoria? Because it's rare that and thanks to David, here we are going out live to Ukraine. What would you like to say?
Oh, can I also, just for Chantal, just before you do jump in there, I don't think it's any coincidence. If you have a look behind Chantal, her brother is known for working with ceramics. please take
Aha.
note of what is behind Chantal, because I don't think that
Wow.
dresser is like that for any reason other than what you may
Thank
think.
you. That's perfect. Yeah. Wow.
Oh,
Really nice. Thank you.
well, that's so
No,
sweet.
not at all. I just feel frightened for you. It's just so appalling. I have a sister who lives only 2 hours from the Ukrainian border in Poland,
Of
and
course.
only yesterday she was saying that she thought that the hot mail was getting slower coming into the country. And I was suddenly thinking, oh my God, if her email system goes down, what goes down next? And she's not even in the Ukraine. So I feel frightened for you. You speak so well. You're so articulate that, our hearts just go out to you and your fellow countrymen. It's a horrible, horrible time for you. And I'm hoping that we can do everything that we possibly can, even small little things. I've brought all my things to take to charity shops this afternoon, and I'm going to make sure that I take them to the charities that are collecting, particularly for the Ukraine. And I was very proud yesterday driving out of London, and I went past our local council building in southwest London that is displaying the Ukrainian flag. And I felt so proud that we were supporting you.
Thank you so much. We feel all this care, we feel your concern, and we feel this support. It means really a lot to us because, we keep hearing, for example, now I've been volunteering for one news website. So we translate the articles as they receive them, we immediately translate them into English. And we can see that there is huge amount of assistance, huge amount of help, of support. And when we get all this bad news, for example, Kharkiv is being shelled now, there has been an explosion. So I mean, I have my Telegram channel. When I get news from, it's like nearly every minute something is going on. And when we hear, so when somebody writes to me and says, we are with you, we support you, so it brings our spirits up again.
And
So
this is coming in. Look at this. This is the Home Office buildings in Croydon, which is a big area of just outside London, are flying the Ukrainian flag as well. So it's not just words. People really do. I can't remember the last time when the rest of the world was united in such a way.
Even here, we don't now have good politicians, bad politicians. We don't have any clashes whatsoever. Everybody's working together. Everybody's supporting our president now. Before it was like somebody was criticizing as usual. Now he's the local hero. His spirits actually that he didn't surrender. They were expecting that there will be capitulation, like surrender, and within 2 days, and everything will cool down, and the cities will be kept.
Unlike Afghanistan, he didn't jump on a plane with suitcases full of cash and disappear with millions and millions of
on the contrary. Can I just say, actually, sort of, I don't know about everyone else who sort of is in this particular discussion, how they feel, but I personally think Volodymyr Zelensky has just been he's not unsung. He's certainly not unsung, but he's absolute hero of all of this. The way that he has come across, his statesmanship abilities in this time has been absolutely extraordinary. And yet it's just his background is even more extraordinary. If you actually look into what his career started off as and how he suddenly ended up being the Ukrainian president, he's a remarkable human being.
Look at this.
Yes, he's really strong, and he's we can say that he's a typical Ukrainian person. Even he has Jewish blood, but he's a typical Ukrainian person, and he's the symbol of our free spirit. That's the way how we are. We will not surrender. They can destroy our cities, but they will not destroy our free spirit.
I don't think they understood that at the beginning of this.
That's Putin's big mistake. I already mentioned it.
Understand that.
That's what he cannot get. Like recently, for example, there was I think it was Berdyansk, which was captured by the enemy, and people went with bare hands. They just pushed them away because they said, you are not welcome here. They put already Russian flag. It was flying over the city, and they just people pushed them away. They said, you are not welcome here.
I saw a jeep. There was a military jeep driving along. There was a load of people. I mean, just like we'd have here in London, like shopping or something. And they saw this jeep and they just ran on it with no thought of their own safety.
Exactly.
And I thought, wow, that sums up you know,
That's the
the,
way
the
how our
spirit and the
people are.
bravery.
They will not surrender. They will not bow to Putin. You know, we will not submit. There is no way, and this is his big mistake. This is his big miscalculation.
You see, Victoria, even if, and I don't want to get into the whole political thing because that's not what we're about, but even if he manages, sadly, to defeat and puts in some puppet dictator to run the Ukraine, whoever it is, they will never crush your spirit. That's the
No.
thing. He's facing 10 to 20 years of total resistance, even if he does that. He'll
I
have
don't
this
think
for
so.
decades.
Yeah. I don't think he will last for that time. I really hope not. My personal opinion is that this is the end of not only of Putin, but this is the end of Russia as such, as a big formation. That's for sure. He has put himself in a corner as a rat, and there is no way out for him.
An insult to a rat, if you don't mind me saying, but yes.
Yeah, exactly. An insult, exactly. So that's why I really don't see. I don't think there will be another 20 years of Putin. I don't think so. There is no way. This was the top. Again, we are still waiting for their people. I hope that his people, there will be somebody amongst his surroundings, somebody who would really do something to stop that guy, you know. But
Yes.
for the moment,
Absolutely.
it's just we just have what we have.
I never
I think
thought,
yeah.
yes, I never thought Victoria in you know, the latter part of the 21st century, that just one man, normally it's a whole nation and the government gets
Exactly.
behind it and the people say,
Yes.
yes, we've got to go and do, and something happens. But this is like, I don't honestly, in my heart, I don't believe the Russian people, the average Russian person, the Victoria who's living in Moscow wants this. I don't think they have any
No.
interest or enthusiasm for this whatsoever at all.
Exactly.
There was a message earlier on actually from Chrissy, who lives in Spain, and she was saying that her sympathy goes to both sides in terms of the innocent people on both sides, because it's very easy to say that obviously those who are in Ukraine are obviously going through hell on earth at the moment, but let's not underestimate what people who are in Russia who are against Putin's action, what they're probably going through as well, and what they probably will go through for speaking out against him as well.
Now, this is
Yeah,
somebody
we
I've
had-
known. This
yeah.
is somebody I've known for years, and he said, Paul Endicott is a very charming man. I'm in tears. This is just too much to digest, and I think we all empathise with that. All the love that's now emanating from such terrible hatred.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah,
They have very few people who dared out to speak out in public, and those people, they have been either ousted of the country. Like there is one very famous even Soviet actress, Lia Hidjakova. She donated $10,000 of her own savings for Ukrainian army. I mean, for the wounded, not for the military equipment. Yeah. And they ousted her of the country, so she had to flee because they started giving her hell. So they don't accept any kind of opinion other than from what is being spread via propaganda.
That's what a dictator. That, Victoria, is exactly what a
Yes.
dictatorship is. It's not a democracy, is it? And this is from Amanda, who is in the psychotherapeutic community. I hope Victoria realizes how much her strength and all of the Ukrainian strength keep us strong as we watch these horrors. It's a
you very
very
much.
strange thing, but your strength and like you, we've never met before, and you've been extraordinary, just extraordinary. I'm very emotional about it. But the strength that we see from your fellow countrymen somehow imbues itself to us as well. You know, it's just like we think, well, while there's a spark of hope, then there's stuff that we can do. One can only hope.
Exactly.
We wish you well, Victoria. Do you want to say anything
you
else?
so much.
No, Victoria, before you go, because I never thought when Howard and I set this radio station up, we'd be able to do something like this. Is there anything you want to say in Russian to the people, all the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, 700 plus listening in Russia now?
Well, I already said what I wanted to say, but I can just say one more.
Please do. Please do.
Не слушайте пропаганду. Используйте свой мозг, пожалуйста. Читайте в интернете информацию. Ищите независимые средства массовой информации, читайте английские, американские новости. Смотрите, в Европе мне присылают многочисленные статьи из местных газет, Bild, Times и других, которые пишут специально на русском языке, обращение к русским, для того, чтобы они поняли, какая на самом деле правда происходит. Украину бомбят, Россия напала, пришла сюда с войной, погибают тысячи, у нас уже 2000 мирного населения погибло. Среди ваших солдат погибло и раненых уже около 10 тысяч. Остановите эту войну, не отправляйте своих сыновей любым способом, остановите мужчин, которые едут на спецоперацию, так называемую спецоперацию в Украине. Это не спецоперация, это настоящая война. У нас Харьков разрушен больше, чем во время Второй мировой войны. Нету ни одного района, который бы уцелел. Харьков, процветающий и красивый город, сейчас в руинах. Киев подвергается многочисленным атакам. Мариуполь взят в осаду, там просто люди сейчас сидят без связи, без продуктов, без возможности выйти на улицу из-за постоянных обстрелов. Я вас очень прошу, включите свой мозг, не верьте то, что это спецоперация, что не страдают мирные жители. Здесь очень все плохо. И если вы не остановите своего диктатора, это может закончиться для всех очень плачевно. Я надеюсь на вашу поддержку и хочу обратиться к тем думающим россиянам, которые нас поддерживают и понимают, но просто не могут высказаться в силу вашей цензуры, что мы с вами, мы вас понимаем, но любым способом в соцсетях, в телеграм-каналах, в любых каналах распространяйте информацию, чтобы больше и больше людей знало о преступлениях военного преступника Путина. Остановите его, давайте остановим его вместе.
Bless you. I'm going to end our conversation with this. It's from a very big supporter of ours and who does lots of stuff. And he says, this is Luke Newman. It's just heartbreaking. I'm dedicating this to you, Victoria. It's just heartbreaking, but please be reassured. Every single person in the UK is behind Ukraine. Please keep strong. I couldn't
Thank you
sum it
so
up.
much. Thank
Victoria,
you.
we send you our love. It all sounds so trite, but you know, if we could wave a magic wand, believe me, we would.
Thank you so much.
I
To
hope
your
we can.
to your prime minister, to the queen, who we were told this morning that she has made some really big donation to our humanitarian aid fund. So really, we feel all your support, David, some other guys who are writing me from UK. I'm thankful to each and every of you on behalf of all of our Ukrainian people. We are strong. We will get through this nightmare, and there will be light at the end of the tunnel, and there will be dawn, which will be beautiful.
Oh my God.
Oh God!
Amazing.
I'm going. I'm going.
Don't do that.
Phil's
Right.
gone, I'm
Okay.
gone. Shit.
Good luck.
We
Thank
cannot
you,
lose our
Victoria.
hope.
Oh, Victoria.
Thank
Sending
you.
lots of love to you,
God
Victoria.
damn! I don't often go on radio.
Thank you.
Oh,
Darling,
gracious me.
you take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
David, thank you so much. Holy
Oh,
moly! Oh, I nearly
gracious
went
me.
then. I
What
nearly
an
went then.
amazing woman.
Isn't she?
Incredible.
Incredible.
David Wimble, I know you can still hear me, David. I can see you, but thank you. Thank you. Do you know what, Chantal? They always go heroes and they show you some overpaid sports idiot who's getting like 40 million a year or something. And I go, you're not a hero. You're just doing a job. That woman, that's what a
Extraordinary.
hero looks like. That's what a
Absolutely.
hero looks like.
I mean,
You know?
incredible. If her force of personality and
Oh,
her force of nature
God
could
damn.
make this go away, then, you know, if you could bottle her, put her in a Molotov cocktail and sling it over the hedge.
Sling it, and that
Done.
would do them. Let's try and whack through some of these things. I want to come back to Odessa in peace, says Andy Lucas. Amanda goes, she's sobbing. Well, damn it, I nearly went. To be honest with you, I nearly went then. Then we got
I think
Mandy
there are
Miller.
already 16 million displaced people in the world from many nations across the planet. And all of those people, you know, have emotionally are in a terribly hard and difficult place, obviously physically too. And I think you're right what you say about that when we see other people going through the awfulness of war, it does put our own problems into some sort of context, which is only a small gain for us. But we do realize how terrible other people's lives are in a way that is stark and real.
But I wish we did, Chantel. This is what really frustrates the hell out of me, I'm afraid, is that if you think of what we've all been through recently with the pandemic, which obviously pales into such insignificance by comparison. I know that, but I'm using it as an example because I always said sort of during the time of the first lockdown, this is probably the nearest thing that most people alive today will see as a major disruption to our lives, obviously not knowing what was around the corner. But even so, that still sort of felt at the time the biggest deal that we had to sort of put up with and contend with. And yet, all the way through it, we still managed to see the worst of humanity, with people acting selfishly, saying, I'm not doing something just because it's going to help someone else. I'm going to do it for me. And with the most ghastly spirits behind them. And yet, listening to Victoria just now, and every single step of the way, never did I pick up on 1 ounce of negativity. Never was there any ounce.
I hate to say
everything
this.
I do, I'm doing it for me.
I hate to say this. I wonder, God forbid a million times, the United Kingdom was Ukraine. I really wonder what our response would be. I really
thank you.
do, because I don't think, I'm born and bred Londoner, right? Lived here all my life, apart from when I lived in America. I don't think it would be like the Ukrainians. There'd be all these idiots on one side or another doing this, that, and the other. The fact, in this horrendous time, you can have the Stop the War, which is not Stop the War at all, with Corbyn and the rest of his schoolboy trots still planning to take over the world. That's what you'd be up against.
Let's hope we don't have to find out.
Well, let's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank God we're
some of the other
messages.
Some of the other messages. Well, that worked for us, didn't it? Sort of in the past, not. But anyway,
I had to go as I had tears in my eyes, says David Wimble. I got to tell you, man, that was the closest I've come to absolutely going on air.
Oh my God, seriously. Going. And then another David also says, "You're so brave, Victoria." He says, like all of Ukraine, I feel guilty with getting on with my day-to-day life. My thoughts, what they're worth, are with you. So,
David has been so supportive to me personally on the books. Thank you, David. You've been I don't know David, but he's been amazing over on social media. There's a question there, it's saying, well, we need to act now. It ain't that easy. It ain't that easy. I totally understand it. I tell you what I found depressing. Have I got time? I just got about time. There's some people I follow in America on another channel. And the guy says, I'm just going to come and say, now this is a guy I've watched most nights. He goes, I'm just going to come and say it. I don't give an SH1T about Ukraine.
Wow.
And I hit the roof. And I wrote back to him. Cool. And I said, oh, by the way, next time people fly planes into your buildings, don't get us involved. Not our. Should we have that attitude? Not our problem. It happened in America. I was stunned. Because they'd rather keep their petrol prices low than get involved, and that is the actual bottom line with it. Do you know that?
Yeah, I totally get that. Having spent a lot of years in America, like you, America's a very long way from Europe, and
it's a long way from anywhere.
Don't think this is their problem.
No, they have no idea. They don't know where. They're even joking like, why is it the Ukraine? Why isn't it not the Germany or the Holland? And it's like, I haven't got the energy, you dick.
But I was to say, but I don't even think, if I'm honest with you, Ross, that thank goodness these people are not rising to the surface. And I don't really think it's even worth wasting our time.
No. They've got 5 million subscribers, Phil.
Okay, but 5 million out of 7 billion, so I don't really sort of think it's a major threat, if I'm honest. I just think it's ignorance. I think it's stupidity.
It's not a threat. Really it's not a threat, Phil. It's not a threat. It just upset me. It just upset me because they're actually very influential, and they just think, not our problem, nothing to do with us, and they would rather have, it's all about lower petrol. I mean, it's absolutely right. And of course, the other thing, I'm just veering it slightly away, Chantal, but we both lived there a lot, and Phil, you visited a lot as well. It's gone right into the hands of the people who are not environmentalists, saying, see, You
Yep.
stop fracking. If we were fracking and we were doing these things, we would be self-sufficient with our oil. We wouldn't need any of this. Man, so there's so many permutations of this.
There are. Anyway,
Yeah,
sad
so many.
times.
What's that little noise? Are you a
Two
ventriloquist?
dogs in the kitchen. I'm not used to having
By
dogs
the way,
around me.
Phil, you are so much smarter than I.
I was going to say, I have to confess, I didn't even realize that my bones needed oiling that much. But okay, that's not, thank goodness.
But
I think it's lunchtime. I think they think it's lunchtime.
Sweet that you did the mugs like that. Phil spotted it and I didn't, and I didn't know what you were going on about for a second. I thought, oh, that's so clever. That's
the problem with that's the problem with working in television. You do notice the backdrop, but anyway, can I just say that thank you so much, Victoria. Once again, thank you to David. Thank you, Chantel. We are flat out of time. Back on Monday at about midday, hopefully. But just keep safe and thank you so much, everybody, and for all your amazing comments. Have a good weekend.
You've been tremendous.